The tax trap for being single. And I did a video on this thing earlier today of the Aon 2008 replacement ratio study. And you can see right here, that's what we're going to talk about. Single compared to married baseline. And this is in 2008. That's almost 20 years ago now. And no one has talked about the married filing jointly tax benefit versus single tax benefit other than me. I mean, I'm sure some people have, but no one going that far back as I have. I don't even think Ed Slott talked about this. It's amazing to me because here's the Aon study, the Aon consulting study, and they mentioned it, but just kind of briefly. But no one said, hey, you better take advantage of married filing joint tax. If you're married, you better take advantage of the MFG tax filing status because at some point your surviving spouse will pay higher taxes, i.e. the widow's tax trap. But there is a single tax, that is, I call it widow's tax trap, but it's a single tax trap, for sure. Single taxpayers pay more. And no one talked about it. And this is in 2008. And I was a member in good standing with Financial Planning Association. I read religiously the Journal for Financial Planning, all this stuff. I'm not foreign to this stuff, and yet no one was talking about your old buddy Josh came off. I'm sure there's some guy who said, oh, I did. Okay, maybe. But this is crazy. So this is beginning in 2008. Single compared to married baseline. At the lowest income levels, pre-retirement taxes are higher for singles than for married couples. All right. At higher income levels, pre-retirement taxes are also higher for singles. Interesting. All right. So we hear that as well. So at the lower and higher level income, pre-retirement taxes are higher for singles than they are for married couples. However, post-retirement taxes are also far greater at the higher income levels for singles. The net effect is that single people at the higher income levels actually need higher replacement rates than married couples because they lose so much more in taxes. Also, at a given level of pre-retirement income, the effective taxation of Social Security benefits is more pronounced for the single worker. The retirement income thresholds at which Social Security benefits become subject to income tax are lower for a single taxpayer because those the provisions for provisional income haven't been changed since 1983. The threshold at which 50% of a Social Security becomes taxable is $25,000 for a single taxpayer compared to $32,000 for married. $34,000 is at 85% is subject to taxation for a single, whereas $44,000 for married, and those thresholds haven't changed. But you hear right here, far greater. Post-retirement taxes are far greater at the higher income levels for single people. And that's not even when you factor in Social Security tax. They kind of did right there, but no one until I came along, I'm sorry, it's true, did a study to show you the difference in taxation of single versus married filing jointly. No one did. Maybe Ed Slott did. I don't think so. I forgot what name of that book he had in like 2009, 10, which is a great book, by the way. But I don't know anyone who did. The point being is, this is another reason if you're single, you want to do your Roth as much as possible. I'm not saying I don't care what your income is, but the reason being is because we know the not just a tax torpedo that hits you on the lower income for Social Security, but basically the more you have in Roth, the less you have in your pre-tax money, the less taxes you'll pay in retirement. When you least afford to have another expense. This is what I always say to people. People say, I got an email the other day about a guy say, why would I do a Roth if all things being equal, it comes out the same? But basically, if I'm the same, if 12% pre-tax versus 12% post-tax, or pre-tax, 12% pre-retirement tax versus 12% retirement tax is the same thing. I get it, but it's not the same thing because Social Security is now included once you're post-retirement. And that Social Security now, it can bring up, I'm not going to do a video on this right now because I've done it 1,000 times. But the more income you have from pre-tax money, the more it makes your Social Security subject to taxation. I'm just telling you, man, you can have $1 extra in post-tax money, a pre-tax money distribution for, like, say, RMD or something like that. You could have $1 of a distribution could equal $1.85 in taxable income for you. That's how bad it can get. And I mean, it can get like that for married couples too, don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying for single people, yeah, you're going to have to pay more on the front end, but you want to pay less in the back, dude. Because the back's when Social Security is subject to taxation too. The more you can get free from taxation in retirement, the better off you're going to be. On top of that, you don't want to have another expense in retirement. Bite the bullet now while you have the money, man. I cannot stress this enough. Anyway, see you. That isn't this isn't rocket science, but it is. You need to know, not that you have to be a rocket scientist to know this stuff. You just be your old buddy Josh in a t-shirt, haven't shaved. I brushed my pearly yellows today though. But I'm just telling you, man, this has been known knowledge for a long, long time, but just very few people have taken the time to actually look at some of the stuff. It drives me up the wall, man. I just don't get it. But that's why I'm glad YouTube's here, because more and more people are getting it. So, yeah, pop that like button. We'll see you and go watch the Falcons. I'm certainly lose because it looks like the Buccaneers are killing Carolina. I'd like to see the Falcons win so they can go to the playoffs, but they're playing the Redskins. I just don't see it happening. All right, God bless. We'll see you.